So it's interesting, because Lincoln Awareness Journey, Lincoln Awareness Practical, as facilitators, we are always practicing what we're facilitating. So now we want to show how the animals can be co-facilitators in those experiential seminars. And we're going to go in and ask the horses to give us some information, non-verbally. So it's interesting that Akash already knows, and he's laid down in the bush there waiting for us. And we've got Zion, who's come all the way from the house, sitting at the front of the pathway here. I mean, come on, he's going like, can you hurry up? And we'll see how Ink does. She's an Irish Border Collie, and she may or may not be in here with us. So let's go see what Akash is waiting to tell us. And certainly the other horses will be communicating and using their physical actions to show information as well, or validate information, or release if we notice things that have been blocked and they release. So it's always cool to watch the whole environment, which includes the horses, the dogs, the trees, the insects, the birds that show up. All of it is part of this exercise. So Lizzie and I have stopped here for a moment because Akash has invited us in, but we're also taking a moment to thank him and say, we're going to come and sit with you now, so thank you very much. So it's nice, he's relaxing a lot more, and at the same time he's asking us to come in, and at the same time Zion wants to join, so Zion's also asking permission of him right now as well. Zion being our white lion cat. So when we do these exercises in Lincoln Awareness Journey and Lincoln Awareness Practical, it's not mandatory that we get close to the sentient beings we're calling animals or horses, but Akash has invited us here. And it would be a little bit rude of me if we didn't come in and join him. So that's why you'll see us sitting here close with him, because he's the one who made the invitation. And as we use this guided journey, number 4 we'll be using for this, we're going to get into a state of heart-brain coherence and connect with him. You'll learn that in experiential seminars, and ask, why did you call us here? And why were you waiting in such a beautifully relaxed state in the forest here? And so Lizzie and I will both be going into heart-brain coherence with him and share whatever messages he may be wanting us to know about. I had a strong sense that Zion was saying, don't you remember what we learned before we came here in these animal bodies? And it felt to me like Akash was going like, I didn't know I could remember that. It's as if he's telling Burma, you go tell them, Burma. I don't want to tell them. Can't you tell them? It's almost like I'm watching Burma out there, that little German pinscher, procrastinate on sharing something that he, as an energetic being, has a comprehension of. cutting bread. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A cutting horse would do this, but he's not bred. He's not used. So I'm maintaining my connection in a bit of an altered state simultaneously to speaking out loud to pick up on kind of the next layer of information. And on the physical side, it looked like he was trying to clear his space. He didn't want the other animals in there, but I still feel that he said, come on, Burma. And now Burma's ready to talk to Lizzie because he's cleared the space and Burma's with Lizzie now. So Akash is releasing urine and he's validating that's what I wanted. So that little fast exchange, and now we see that Burma was peeing, so Burma released as well. And now Lizzie takes a zip drive of information that Burma left her and replays it. So when we talk about this physical languaging of the sentient beings we're calling animals, being the last form of communication, in my sense it's light and information, which is energetic transference, an eye language that happens, sometimes something verbal, and then we see the physical languaging. So what we're doing is we're picking up on the energetic light and information, and also allowing that physical follow through of the validating information, kind of like a charades game. So right now for me, message received by Akash is because he has stepped out of this area and he said thank you for listening. He released by urinating, and he also left that time for Burma to connect with Lizzie. And Lizzie will stay in her quiet space and allow that information to arise to her conscious mind. And then we'll see the animals starting to hold the space in a different way. So if I look at Burma right now behind Lizzie, he's completed, but he's just staying with her. It's very interesting. Always got lots of debrief stuff, but that it would have thought Akash was chasing them out of his area where he was laying down. From an animal perspective, he's not a cutting horse, and so we let go of thinking he's trying to chase them out. Actually, he's trying to keep them in there to have them engage with us because he was finished his transmission, and he kind of was the opposite of what you might think, right? Yeah, it was interesting. I don't know, like if that was on film or not when Zion moved in. Yeah. And actually Zion was like downloading Akash with information and saying kind of like, okay buddy, you can do this. So that was priceless to watch too.
Well, and you said it would be nice if Zion would come out, and sure enough, because he's not always out here. So the fact that we felt drawn to have all the animals, because normally we'd be like, okay, the dog should stay in, the cat, because everything, we're trying to get this, our agenda is this. But when we allow for the organic flow, putting those like agendas and fears that, oh no, we're not going to get what we're looking for, but we're looking for is this organic flow, and to be kind of brave and courageous enough to just be like, okay, here we are.
Absolutely, and the trust for me is they called us out here.
Yeah.
They were waiting, and we actually answered their call. Back to that, who's facilitating what,
But then my question, and this is the question of so many people, is how do you know that? And how do you know that is from many, many, many years and hours of discerning between, we're going to go out and have fun, and, oh, I can hear We need to go out there.
So she's agreeing because she's releasing.
Yeah.
And this is what we're talking about with this physical language of she's like, yeah, you got that aha.
Yeah.
I can let that go for you.
Yeah.
Right? And it goes back into why join us in person. There seems to be this belief system that humans have, seeing and experiencing as believing. Well, right on, join us.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you explain the interconnected oneness of all that is when we've just come in with the horses at the horses' request to observe a session? We've seen huge releases and changes with the horses, and now we have this tiny bit of snow happening where the environment is also mirroring and experiencing this shift or change at the same time. So when we talk about the sentient beings we call animals as co-facilitators, well, the environment is the big co-facilitator, because in this state of oneness, when we're facilitating these classes, but on a daily basis, the environment is always a part of what's changing and interconnected with the moment. It's never separate. So really interesting for us to see this weather pattern just suddenly change as we're finishing this nonverbal communication that the horses called us in for. Wow.